What is up, guys? Beancrew49 here. We are back on the Desolation map. And I got a surprise for you. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. What do you guys think it is? Oh, you know what it is. You know, last time we worked over here, I told you that we'd get a lot done off camera. So that's exactly what I've done. I worked a little bit off camera, and the Drumpf Tower of Coveton is coming true. It's very rough. I figure that there's gonna get more details put into this exterior before it's all said and done. Okay, so don't think that this is a final product by any stretch of the imagination. But gotta say, guys, the exterior of skyscrapers doesn't take much time or effort. It just went up overnight, basically, like a flash, and it came out pretty well. It wasn't, it's not really to scale. Like the real Drumpf Tower in Chicago is probably like to scale a lot bigger. So this is going to be one of the smaller skyscrapers on the map. And it will get taller once I do the roof, because we're going to put like antennas and stuff on top of that. So it'll get a little bit taller. And there's also a little section of the top that I haven't completed yet. But for the most part, this exterior is done. Okay, and not only that, today we're gonna get a name. This name came to us from Jamie Drew. She had the best name possible. She reminded me that Trump changed his name from Drumpf. Drumpf. Can you imagine if our president was called Drumpf? So he changed his name when he was a young lad, and he tried to forget about his past, but we're not gonna let him forget about his real name that easily. So we're gonna call this the Drumpf Tower. Alright, so thank you, Jamie Drew, for that great suggestion. There was Drumpf Tower was another idea that was thrown out there by Sid, and I really like that idea, but I think Drumpf is the way to go. So we're gonna write Drumpf on the side of the building. Of course we are. Why wouldn't we? And you're not gonna be able to see this too well once the next skyscraper, the next door neighbor, comes into play. But for right now, it's coming through loud and clear. Drumpf. All right, so in today's video, I'm going to start on the interior. Now, I'm not going to, start in the lobby and work my way up. What I got to do first is get an elevator shaft in here and then get a stairwell in here, because those are two things that are really, so aggravating. I hate doing this part. This is the worst part about skyscrapers by far. I hate this part. So I'm going to be derping around in this episode a little bit. I'm sorry. I apologize, okay? The derp has to happen. All right? For something to get done, there's got to be a little bit of derping, or else we didn't really, hit any obstacles, and then we're not learning, and then that's no fun. But anyway, while I derp around with this stuff, let's talk about something, shall we? Okay, today's Monday. You guys know that. On Mondays, I answer your questions that you put in the comment section of each Monday video. It's called Creative Question of the Week, and you're allowed to ask anything. Any question, nothing is off limits. Go get her. Get her done. All right. So today's question comes from Bruh. It's GLZ, and he asks, how do you think we humans have ruined our society? What is bringing us down? Thank you, bruh. It's GLZ for that question. I really appreciate all the questions that come in. So please leave a question. Nothing's off topic, guys. Like I just said, okay? So before I really answer this question, I want to clear something up that seems to be bugging me a little bit. And it's your opinion of me. I get the sense, guys, that you kind of see me as a very negative person, because I'm pointing out all these flaws in things, right? I'm pointing out flaws in the government and the things that our society does wrong, and you guys get this idea that I'm a negative person, and that is absolutely 180 degrees from the truth. Now, the reason why sometimes I'll bring up shadow aspects of the world around us, the seemingly negative aspects of the world around us, the reason I bring that up to you guys is so that you know about them. And only after knowing about the problem can you fix it. If you don't know there's a problem, how can you fix it? So knowing about problems is the first step towards healing. And that healing is the most positive thing there is. So if you don't know that there's sodium fluoride in your water, how can you stop drinking sodium fluoride if you don't even know it's in your water? So that's just one example of a topic I've discussed, and it's something that is more positive than I can ever imagine. So I get the overall sense that you guys think I'm a negative person. I'm the most positive person you are ever going to meet, and I could almost guarantee it. All right. So let me get into GLZ's question. He says, how do you think humans have ruined our society? I don't think we've ruined it. I think there's a lot of negative aspects of it and a lot of things that we need to heal collectively as a society. And like I said, I like to bring those things up so that you can help me. I'm looking for your guys' help in cleaning up our society, fixing the problems that we are kind of overlooking because they've been problems for so long that we don't even realize that they're problems anymore. They're just a way of life, but they're big problems in our society that we need to clean up and move towards healing. And we can't do that without cleaning up those problems first, right? So I don't think we've ruined our society. Our society is great. In fact, I think our society is closer to being a utopia than has ever been in the history of humanity. Right now, we are closer to living in a peace-filled, love-filled society where everyone works together. We're closer to that than we've ever been, ever, as the history of humanity is gone, ever. So that's the most positive thing I can imagine. We're getting there. We're moving there slowly. More people are waking up, though. More people are starting to see that reality isn't exactly what our schools, our parents, and our society portrayed to us, and that's like goes in hand with what I just said, where you can't realize that that something needs to be fixed if you don't know that there's a problem. So I think a lot of people are waking up to the problems, and you might see that as negative, but that's absolutely the most positive thing there is, right? When you're healing yourself, your personality, your emotions, your thoughts, you can't heal yourself if you don't know what your problems are, right? If you're a very jealous person, and you're jealous of all these people around you, and you just take that energy with you wherever you go, and you look down on people, and you think you're better than people, and you act out in your jealousy, then you just think that's the way it is. You have the mentality that everything is against you. But once you realize that you're a jealous person and you're seeing the world through slanted glasses, I guess, right? Once you see that, then you can say, oh, the world's not like that. I'm like that. That's just the way I'm seeing the world. Now you can change things. Now you can change the way you see the world. And I think our society is getting closer to that. We're starting to see the problems in our government. We're starting to see the things that society brainwashes us into and programs us into. And a lot of more people are waking up to that fact. And the more and more people that wake up to that, the more and more people they share it with. And then the more and more people wake up to it. And then they share it with people. And it grows and it snowballs. And eventually everyone will be ready to understand that we need to move on as a society. We need to grow. We need to evolve. We can't be stuck into the same routines that we've been engaged in for the last 12,000 years. I don't even know, however long you want to go back into it. But so yes, that's the answer to the first part of this question. We haven't ruined our society. We are improving it daily. It's getting better and better and better, and we need to continue that. And we need to really focus on that and focus on healing ourselves and healing the people around us, so that as a whole we can grow together, right? Your job is to heal yourself. Your job is to wake up to the injustice. Your job is to counteract that injustice by spreading peace, love, and understanding. And that's all you can do. But if you do that, that spreads to others, and then they spread it to others, and then we're moving towards a better society. But if you're going to be caught in the old paradigms, you're just going to be stuck in your rut, stuck in the ways that your society has programmed you. That's why they programmed you. They don't want you to break out of that rut, because that rut keeps the people in power. That keeps things the way they are. It keeps the status quo. And that is war. Constant war. That is the lower class just being held down by the upper class. That is the mismanagement of resources, where people in Africa are starving while people in the United States are eating lobster dinners. So what is bringing us down as a society, bro? It's IGO. These are the things that I'm talking about. We live in a war-filled society where the best way to solve a problem is to use violence. And we see that from the wars all across the country, all across the globe, down to our local hometown with the police, acting out these violent tendencies on the populace, the unarmed populace, basically. And we see that from all aspects of life, is we have a very warlike mentality. in the 200 and some odd years that the United States has been a country, we haven't been in a military conflict for like 3 of those years. Can you imagine that? For the British Empire, the sun doesn't set on the British Empire because they have been aggressively taking over countries and regions for their entire existence. So, the superpowers are just promoting war and violence, and that's one thing that needs to stop. We need to realize that if you have a difference with somebody, if you're not seeing, agreeing with them, that just means you're not putting yourself in their shoes. You're not empathizing with them. If you empathize with the enemy, there is no possibility of war. If you can put yourself in the enemy's shoes, and I'm using the enemy in air quotes, they're not your enemies. They're other human beings. They're your allies. They're your brothers and sisters. Other human beings are not the enemy, okay? So if you can empathize with someone you're having problems with, or for instance, like you got a bully in school, right? And you right now you see that bully as a really mean, violent person filled with anger and the hatred towards you, right? But if you really put yourself in the position of that bully and you empathize with that bully, then you can probably start to understand that he probably has a really bad home life. His parents aren't giving him the love that he needs. He's not getting the support he needs at home. Probably no one really cares about him. It could be any number of different things. Maybe someone in his family has a disease that is terminal, and they're acting out their emotions because they can't deal with their emotions. They haven't been taught how to deal with their emotions, so they're just taking it out on the weakest person they can find. And yes, that's a horrible thing, but you got to go into their shoes and realize that they're hurting. That bully is hurting more than you are, and he just wants someone else to hurt as much as he does. So once you empathize with him, then instead of fighting that bully, you can help him to receive the love that he needs, and it might not work with every bully, but you need to really understand where they're coming from to fix the situation, right? And that's a small scale thing. The bigger scale is the U.S. versus Russia. That's the it's the same exact thing, only now with 2 countries instead of 2 people. Okay. So, that's one thing we need to heal is our military tendencies, and we're not the problem. It's not society. It's not the individuals who are causing this violence necessarily. It's our military-industrial complex. It's those who are running this country. They're the ones who are jumping to war. They're the ones creating reasons to go to war that don't exist. So that's something we need to heal. We need to put in... First of all, we shouldn't have people in positions of power. There shouldn't be a handful of people telling the rest of the people how to live. So that's a huge thing that needs to change. But for right now, we need to change it to where the people who are in power are people filled with love and understanding and empathy. And so that they can avoid wars before they happen. So the wars never happen if those kinds of people are leading countries. But we don't have that, do we? We have people who are greedy, who are serving interests that are not their own, i.e. the military-industrial complex, the corporations. That's another thing. The corporations and capitalism have really taken over our society. Capitalism has run rampant. And we've been taught so much that communism is a horrible thing. And yes, communism on paper, or in reality, doesn't work. Communism doesn't work because human greed still enters it. But capitalism taught us that communism is a terrible thing. But the idea that all people are equal is not a radical idea. That's the reality of the situation. And I don't want to get into a whole systems of government argument here. And yes, communism pretty much failed, and we've seen it fail. But capitalism is equally failing, perhaps even more so. Capitalism is failing because those with money control those without. And that is a way that our society is just hurting. And we need to heal that aspect of our society if we're going to move on as a race of species. Because... capitalism is leading to war, which war leads to nuclear fallout, and nuclear fallout leads to the end of human beings. So, that's one potential route we could go down if we don't really start to heal ourselves and fix ourselves and make ourselves better as a whole. And the main thing I want to say about this video today, the main idea that I want to get across is that you only have power over yourself. So it's been said time and time again, and don't let the cliche get in your way. Really think about these words. Be the change that you want to see. Only you can change your life. That's it. But by changing your life, you have the ripple effect on so many other people. And if you want change to come, you have to embody that change. You have to be that change. You have to project that change all around you. Change your life, and people around you will change with you. So you're not going to make change by fighting the government. That's not going to happen. You're going to make change by not allowing forces that are trying to get you to succumb to negativity to impact you. And one small way, the very first step that you can do is to stop watching, reading, or listening to the news. The news is something that's trying to program you. They're trying to get you to enter into negativity, into a space of negativity that you're very difficult to get out of. Very difficult. So the news is just one thing that you got to stop. I mean, I read the headlines, and I know that even in the headlines there's programming, especially in the headlines there's programming, because people know, because they know that people just read the headlines sometimes, but know what's going on in the world, yes, but don't read these news stories or watch these news stories and think that you're being told the truth. They're trying to program you into fear. So that's the first step. That is the first step, is of just getting rid of this negative energy that's being bombarded into you. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I hope I answered that question sufficiently. I don't know if I did, but I did my best. I went on my own little tangent, so that's what I usually do on these videos. So leave a creative question in the comment section below if you would, please. I enjoy your questions a lot. There are some questions I'm going to get to. I just haven't yet, but keep asking them if I haven't answered them. And that's a Drumpf tower. I'll talk more about this next time, so leave a like if you enjoyed this. Happy Minecrafting. Peace.